Welcome back to Do It All. I'm Gabriel, and I'm here to help you unlock your potential and be everything your heart desires. Have you ever regretted something you said in a moment of frustration? Or felt your trust waver with someone because of how they reacted under stress? Emotional control isn't just about staying calm. It's the key to building real trust and honor. Today, we're going to dive deep into how mastering our emotions can help lead us to a life of honor, trustworthiness, and respect. Imagine the impact of navigating any situation with integrity and grace. That's emotional control in action. In this episode, we'll dive into emotional intelligence, exploring how our reactions shape others' perceptions and why emotional control is foundational to trust and honor. You'll gain insights into how the brain manages emotional responses and learn practical, science-backed tools to handle stress with resilience. By the end, you'll have strategies to help you control your reactions and build a lasting reputation of integrity. Let's explore how mastering emotions can elevate every interaction in life. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated on all things Do It All. We're building a community, and your involvement is appreciated and helps its growth. So please consider leaving a comment and sharing. Emotional control plays a vital role in navigating complex situations, from high-stakes events to everyday challenges. The ability to remain calm and composed often determines how situations unfold and impacts how others perceive us. Here are some real-life examples where individuals exercise profound emotional control, demonstrating resilience, fostering trust, and illustrating how a steady response can shape outcomes positively. In 2020, Captain Tom Moore, a 100-year-old British Army veteran, set out to walk 100 laps around his garden to raise money for healthcare workers during the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite his age and the global crisis, he demonstrated emotional control, radiating positivity and resilience, which inspired millions and raised over £32 million. Moore's story is a reminder that emotional control isn't just about managing stress, but can also be about showing optimism and strength. His steady demeanor brought hope to people worldwide during a difficult time, proving that calm perseverance can make a profound impact. Even when surrounded by uncertainty, his choice to focus on what he could do to help others exemplifies the power of staying grounded. Captain Moore's emotional resilience showed that even the smallest gestures, performed with dedication, can inspire monumental change. Olympic gymnast Simone Biles faced immense pressure at the 2021 Olympics, but chose to withdraw from several events to prioritize her mental health. This decision, taken amidst intense public scrutiny, displayed emotional control by acknowledging her limits and putting her health first. Biles' choice illustrates that emotional control isn't always about pushing through, but knowing when to pause. This inspired others to recognize mental well-being as a priority, particularly in high-stress environments. Her decision changed the conversation around mental health in sports, showing that emotional resilience includes knowing how to manage external pressures and protecting one's well-being. Captain Sullenberger's Miracle on the Hudson emergency landing is a well-known story of composure in the face of life-threatening danger. His calm demeanor saved all 155 passengers on board, displaying profound emotional control under extreme stress. Sullenberger's story reminds us that staying calm under pressure can lead to clear thinking and better outcomes, even in high-stakes situations. Emotional control allows for rational decision-making when it matters most. His actions underscore the importance of training oneself to remain steady in crisis, a skill that builds trust and confidence in others. In 2012, Malala Yousafzai, a young Pakistani activist, survived an assassination attempt by the Taliban. Instead of succumbing to fear or bitterness, she chose to respond with resilience, continuing her advocacy for girls' education. Her calm, measured responses to adversity have inspired many. Malala's choice to channel her experiences into constructive activism rather than anger illustrates the power of emotional control in creating positive social change. By responding peacefully and with purpose, she has become a symbol of resilience, showing how emotional control can inspire others and foster global movements for justice. LeBron James, despite being one of the most successful athletes, has often faced intense scrutiny from the media and public. He maintains composure and continues to perform at an elite level, focusing on personal and professional growth rather than reacting to criticism. James's story shows that emotional control is critical in high-pressure careers, allowing individuals to stay focused on their goals instead of being distracted by negativity. His consistent approach in the face of public pressure exemplifies how remaining composed can build respect and trust, ultimately enhancing performance. These real-life examples highlight that emotional control is an essential skill that can help us respond wisely, even under pressure. When we choose to manage our reactions and focus on positive actions, we not only benefit ourselves, but also set an example for others. By mastering emotional resilience, we gain the ability to make a lasting impact in any environment, inspiring trust, honor, and respect in those around us. Let's continue with a story. Imagine you're at work and a coworker publicly challenges your idea. For a moment, you feel a rush of defensiveness. It's natural, right? Most of us have been there, that split-second urge to defend ourselves, even if it means raising our voice or responding harshly. Now picture this. Instead of reacting right away, you pause, you breathe. You take a second to ask yourself, how would my ideal self respond here? Would a reaction help my idea or win over the team? By choosing that moment of self-control, you're not only avoiding conflict, but showing everyone that you're someone they can trust and respect. When we master our emotions, we become the calm in the storm. Studies show that people who exhibit strong emotional control tend to inspire loyalty and respect because they're perceived as stable, dependable, and trustworthy. Our responses, especially in moments of stress, are often what people remember most about us. How do you want to be remembered? When I first started working on emotional control, I realized how often I'd been reacting impulsively, especially in difficult situations. One experience in particular stood out, a disagreement with a close friend. In the past, I might have responded defensively, but instead I took a step back, paused, and listened more carefully. That choice made all the difference. Not only did it save our friendship, but it also showed me that emotional control wasn't just about holding back. It was about showing up as the person I wanted to be. And it made me wonder, how often do we get the chance to do that, but miss it because of our immediate reactions? To truly understand emotional control, we need to examine the science behind our responses to stress, frustration, and joy. The brain's inner workings reveal how we can regulate our emotions and reactions, from neural pathways activated in moments of anger to the power of conscious thought on brain plasticity. Each discovery uncovers how emotional control can be strengthened. In this section, we'll explore the key areas of brain science related to emotional control, including how we can harness these mechanisms to react with clarity and purpose rather than impulse. So, what's happening in our brains when we feel that rush of anger, frustration, or excitement? Our brains are wired to react quickly through a structure called the amygdala, which is often responsible for those knee-jerk emotional reactions. It's part of our ancient survival mechanism, meant to keep us safe by responding fast to danger. However, in today's world, we rarely face life-threatening situations. Instead, we're often dealing with emotional challenges that require thought rather than instinct. Psychologists Daniel Goleman and neuroscientists such as Dr. Richard Davidson have shown that we can actually train our brains to manage these reactions. Techniques like mindfulness, cognitive behavioral exercises, and even breathing practices help activate our prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for rational thinking. This means that, with practice, we can literally rewire our responses, allowing us to choose calm over chaos. The brain's neuroplasticity, its ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections, plays a crucial role in emotional control. Studies reveal that practicing mindfulness and deliberate reflection strengthens the prefrontal cortex and diminishes impulsive responses from the amygdala. In essence, the brain is adaptable and can be rewired to favor rational responses over emotional reactivity. According to a study published in JAMA Psychiatry, individuals who engage in regular mindfulness training showed increased thickness in the prefrontal cortex, enhancing their ability to handle stress. This change indicates that emotional control can improve over time with consistent mental exercise, empowering us to respond with thoughtfulness and composure. The prefrontal cortex, located in the front part of the brain, is essential for logical thinking, decision-making, and impulse control. During moments of high emotion, this area works to override the amygdala's immediate reactions, allowing us to choose responses aligned with our long-term goals rather than impulsive behaviors. Research by Dr. Kevin Oshner, a psychologist at Columbia University, found that individuals who practice cognitive reappraisal, a technique of reframing negative thoughts, activated their prefrontal cortex more effectively. This practice can be especially useful in preventing emotionally charged outbursts, showing that with training, we can actively steer our thoughts away from impulse and towards rationality. Simple as it may sound, controlled breathing is a powerful tool for emotional regulation. Deep breathing, especially techniques that emphasize exhalation, can help engage the parasympathetic nervous system, calming the body and reducing stress responses. This has a direct impact on the amygdala, reducing its reactivity. Studies from Stanford University reveal that just a few minutes of focused breathing can lower the levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and increase feelings of calmness. Techniques like box breathing or 4-7-8 breathing can serve as immediate tools for anyone feeling overwhelmed, highlighting that physical practices can significantly influence mental control. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions and the emotions of others. Research has shown that developing EI through practices like empathy training and reflective thinking can enhance emotional control. Higher emotional intelligence is linked to better conflict resolution, relationship satisfaction, and overall well-being. A study from Personality and Social Psychology Review indicates that individuals with high emotional intelligence are more capable of diffusing tense situations and are less likely to experience intense negative reactions. By building emotional intelligence, we strengthen our prefrontal cortex and reinforce neural pathways that support patience and understanding in difficult interactions. Through each of these discoveries in neuroscience and psychology, we see that emotional control is more than just staying calm in difficult moments. It's a skill that can be cultivated, allowing us to reshape our brain's reactions, elevate our decision-making, and ultimately leads us to a life that reflects our highest values. By understanding and practicing these insights, we gain the power to choose responses aligned with honor, respect, and integrity, no matter the situation. Exploring emotional control can be complex, and sometimes we need more than a set of techniques. We need an entire philosophy. 2 books have risen to prominence in this space. Daniel Goleman's Emotional Intelligence: Why It Can Matter More Than IQ, a classic in emotional psychology, and The Emotional Life of Your Brain by Dr. Richard J. Davidson, which combines neuroscience with practical insights. Together, these books deepen our understanding of how we can transform emotional reactions into conscious, purpose-driven responses. Goleman's book, Emotional Intelligence, reveals that success isn't solely dependent on intellect. Emotional intelligence plays a crucial role in personal and professional realms. Goleman breaks EQ into 5 components: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skill, all foundational to mastering emotions. His research supports the idea that these skills are not only learnable, but essential for leading a balanced life. A powerful quote from Goleman summarizes his thesis. If your emotional abilities aren't in hand, if you don't have self-awareness, if you are not able to manage your distressing emotions, if you can't have empathy and have effective relationships, then no matter how smart you are not going to get very far. This book emphasizes that by harnessing EQ, one can create stronger relationships, develop self-discipline, and cultivate resilience. Goleman's model is a profound takeaway. Emotional intelligence shapes not only how we perceive ourselves, but how others perceive and respond to us. In The Emotional Life of Your Brain, Dr. Richard J. Davidson brings readers closer to the science of emotions. Davidson's extensive research in neuroscience reveals how emotional responses are shaped by different neural pathways. He identifies 6 emotional styles: resilience, outlook, social intuition, self-awareness, sensitivity to context, and attention, which determine our emotional habits and reactions. Davidson's groundbreaking approach suggests that emotional responses aren't fixed, they can be trained. He explains, your emotional style is a product of your brain, and your brain is something you can change. This book presents both scientific studies and mindfulness practices that help individuals rewire their emotional circuitry. One major takeaway is that emotional control is a dynamic process involving both the mind and the brain, with mindfulness and reflection as central tools to create lasting emotional balance. Both of these books highlight the incredible adaptability of the human brain. Through Goleman's foundational principles and Davidson's scientific approach, we see that emotional control is not just about reaction, but about resilience and lasting mental shifts. Applying insights from these works allows us to bring deeper self-awareness and intentionality into our lives, an invaluable investment for anyone seeking growth. Now, let's dive into 5 practical steps you can take to strengthen your emotional control. Each of these strategies is grounded in proven techniques that can help calm the mind and enable thoughtful responses in challenging situations. Try incorporating these steps into your daily routine and notice the difference over time. 1. Pause before responding. Whenever you feel an intense emotion, pause for a few seconds before responding. Those moments help your brain shift from an automatic reaction to a deliberate response. This pause is what psychologist Viktor Frankl called the space between stimulus and response, and gives you the power to choose your best self in every situation. 2. Label the emotion. Studies show that naming your emotions can reduce their intensity, a practice referred to as affect labeling in psychology. When you feel frustration, anger, or sadness, silently acknowledge it by saying, "I'm feeling frustrated," or "I'm feeling anxious." This simple recognition can reduce the emotion's impact and give you control over how you respond. 3. Practice mindfulness or meditation. Mindfulness and meditation help build emotional resilience by training the brain to stay calm under pressure. Research shows that a few minutes of mindfulness daily can improve self-regulation and make it easier to handle stress with grace and honor. Try focusing on your breath or doing a simple body scan to ground yourself when feeling overwhelmed. 4. Reframe negative thoughts. Cognitive reframing allows us to view negative situations from a new perspective, decreasing stress. For instance, if a project goes wrong, instead of thinking, "I failed," try reframing it as, "I learned valuable lessons from this." This shift encourages proactive responses and keeps you grounded in a growth mindset, reducing emotional reactions over time. 5. Visualize the desired outcome. Visualization techniques, often used by athletes and high-performing individuals, can help prepare your mind for positive responses under pressure. Imagine yourself responding calmly in a challenging situation, handling your emotions gracefully. Regular visualization builds confidence in managing future stressful events with self-control. Remember, emotional control is a skill that takes practice, but each of these steps strengthens your ability to respond thoughtfully, regardless of the circumstances. With time, these techniques become habits, empowering you to stay centered and intentional in all situations. Let's work toward mastering these habits together. Emotional control isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about using them wisely to align with who you truly want to be. Let's recap the key takeaways from today's episode. Emotional control earns respect and builds trust, which strengthens our relationships. Understanding how the brain works in moments of stress empowers us to make better choices. Simple practices like pausing before reacting and mindfulness help us cultivate emotional control. By embracing emotional control, we can lead with honor and integrity in every part of our lives. Remember, emotional control is like a muscle. The more you work on it, the stronger it becomes. Start with small steps, and soon you'll notice a real difference in how you handle challenges. None of us are perfect at these things, especially me, but the thing to remember is that every day we can make progress towards better emotional control, which builds and compounds towards our best selves. Keep working on self-control, and you will improve. If you're finding value in this journey to mastering life, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Let's keep growing together. For highlights of new episodes and community activity, sign up for the newsletter. Each episode is available on multiple video and podcast platforms. See the links below. Thanks for joining me today on this deep dive into emotional control. We've explored the science behind how our brains respond under stress, looking at the ways the amygdala and prefrontal cortex shape our reactions and how emotional control can elevate our integrity and trustworthiness. Through powerful real-life examples and insights from neuroscience, we learned how mindfulness, labeling our emotions, and a simple pause can shift us from reactive to intentional. Practicing these strategies brings us closer to our best selves, allowing us to lead with honor and resilience in every interaction. You can find all the books and studies we referenced in the description below if you'd like to explore these ideas further. Next episode, we're going to shift gears and look at how to master the collaborative win-win mindset in any disagreement. Whether you're handling conflict at work or resolving a personal issue, there's a way to honor both yourself and others. I can't wait to explore that with you. See you next time. Let's go do it all.